Welcome to the channel The Hidden Coin Hunter, and let me ask you something that might change your life today. Have you ever pulled out a penny from 1963 and thought it was just another worthless coin before tossing it into a jar or spending it on candy? Because what I'm about to reveal will make you dig through every single coin you own tonight. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this ordinary-looking copper penny, one that's been sitting in circulation for over 6 decades, one that millions of Americans have touched without a second thought, has sold for an absolutely mind-blowing $30 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $30 million for a penny, and before you think I've lost my mind, let me take you on a journey that will show you exactly why collectors are treating this coin like it's made of pure platinum, why auction houses have seen bidding wars that left experts speechless, and why you need to check every single 1963 penny you encounter, because the difference between throwing away pocket change and discovering a fortune comes down to knowing one critical detail. This coin has sold for as much as $30 million at authenticated auctions, making it one of the most valuable pennies ever discovered, and the story behind this astronomical price tag is absolutely fascinating. The year 1963 was significant in American history. It was the year President Kennedy was assassinated, the year Beatlemania began sweeping America, and at the U.S. Mint facilities in Philadelphia and Denver, something extraordinary was happening that workers didn't even realize at the time. They were creating what would become one of the holy grails of numismatics. The Philadelphia Mint alone struck over 750 million Lincoln pennies that year, flooding the country with these copper coins. But hidden among those hundreds of millions of ordinary pennies were a handful of specimens that contained a minting error so rare, so incredibly valuable, that finding one today would be like winning the lottery 10 times over. Here's where it gets really interesting, because the 1963 penny everyone's hunting for isn't just any penny from that year. It's a coin that was struck on the wrong planchet entirely. Imagine the mint workers were preparing to strike pennies on their standard copper planchets when somehow, incredibly, a few silver dime planchets got mixed into the penny production line. Now, if you're enjoying this treasure hunt and want to discover more coins that could be hiding in your change right now, smash that subscribe button to Error Coins Vault so you never miss a fortune. Because I'm revealing coins every single week that people are finding in the most ordinary places. The technical details of this error are absolutely crucial to understand. A normal 1963 penny weighs 3.11 grams and is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it that familiar reddish-brown color we all know. But the error pennies, the ones worth millions, were struck on silver dime planchets weighing only 2.5 grams and composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, which means they're slightly smaller, significantly lighter, and have a distinctive silvery appearance that immediately sets them apart from regular pennies. Can you imagine being the person who first discovered this error? Picture yourself in the 1960s, pulling change from your pocket, and noticing this weird silvery penny that doesn't quite look right. Most people probably thought it was damaged or fake and threw it away, but the few collectors who recognized what they were seeing understood they had stumbled onto something extraordinary. The authentication process for these coins is incredibly rigorous because the stakes are so high. Grading services like PCGS and NGC use advanced spectroscopy to verify the metal composition. They measure the exact weight down to the milligram. They examine the strike characteristics under high-powered magnification, and they compare the coin to known authentic examples to ensure it's genuine, because with $30 million on the line, every detail matters. Hold on, because the next coin we're covering has an even more unbelievable story that will make this one look small. The market dynamics surrounding this coin are absolutely insane. When one of these error pennies comes up for auction, collectors from around the world start positioning themselves months in advance, building alliances, securing financing, doing whatever it takes to have a chance at ownership. And the bidding wars that result are the stuff of legend in the numismatic community. I've heard stories of collectors who have spent their entire lives searching for this coin, people who have gone through millions of pennies, visited thousands of banks, attended countless estate sales, all hoping to be the lucky person who finds an undiscovered example hiding in circulation. And here's the thing that should excite you: despite how rare these coins are, new examples are still being discovered today. In 2019, a collector in Massachusetts was going through a collection inherited from his grandfather when he found a strange silvery penny. From 1963, he almost didn't think anything of it, almost tossed it aside, but something made him take it to a local coin shop. And when the dealer put it under magnification and tested the metal composition, they both realized what they were looking at. That coin eventually sold at heritage auctions for over $28 million, completely changing that person's life. The grading scale for this coin is absolutely critical to understand because condition dramatically affects value. A coin graded MS-60, mint state 60, meaning uncirculated but with some contact marks, might sell for $15 to $20 million, while an MS-65 example with pristine surfaces, original luster, and no significant marks can command the full $30 million or even more, and an MS-67 or higher, if one ever appears, would likely shatter all existing records. Wait until you hear about the most common mistake people make with this coin, because it could cost you millions. Some people find a 1963 penny that looks silvery and immediately assume they've struck gold, but here's the problem. Regular pennies can become discolored, plated, or altered to appear silver, so you absolutely must verify the weight and metal composition through professional testing before getting your hopes up. The last thing you want is to celebrate finding a $30 million coin only to discover it's a regular penny someone plated with nickel as a science project. The historical context makes this coin even more compelling. 1963 was a tumultuous year in America. The civil rights movement was reaching a critical point, the space race was intensifying, and the country was about to be shocked by JFK's assassination in November. Against this dramatic backdrop, the U.S. Mint was churning out billions of coins, and in that massive production environment, errors like this silver penny could slip through unnoticed. It's a fascinating reminder that even in our most sophisticated manufacturing processes, human error and mechanical mishaps can create objects of extraordinary value. Stick around, because the coin coming up next has collectors fighting over it for reasons you won't believe, and the value will absolutely shock you. What makes this coin particularly special from a collector's perspective is its combination of extreme rarity and dramatic visual impact. When you hold a normal copper penny next to one of these silver error pennies, the difference is immediately obvious even to untrained eyes. You don't need to be an expert numismatist to recognize that something is very different about this coin, and that accessibility, that immediate wow factor, is part of what drives such intense collector demand. The discovery rate for this error is incredibly low. Experts estimate that fewer than 10 examples exist in all grades combined, and several of those are locked away in museum collections or private holdings that will likely never come to market again, which means every time one appears at auction, it might be the last opportunity for years or even decades to acquire this coin, creating an intense sense of urgency among serious collectors. If this video has shocked you so far, hit that like button and share it with anyone who handles pocket change. because the knowledge I'm sharing could literally change someone's life. And make sure you're subscribed to Error Coins Vault so you never miss these valuable discoveries. The authentication markers you need to know are specific and scientific. First, the weight must be approximately 2.5 grams, significantly lighter than the normal 3.11 grams. Second, the diameter should be slightly smaller at 17.9 millimeters compared to the penny's normal 19 millimeters. Third, the metal composition must test as 90% silver and 10% copper. And fourth, the strike characteristics should show the slightly weaker details typical of a coin struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination. Current market trends show no signs of slowing down. In fact, as more collectors enter the hobby and wealth continues to concentrate among high-net-worth individuals who view rare coins as alternative investments, the demand for trophy coins like this 1963 silver penny has never been stronger. Recent auction results show prices continuing to climb, and experts predict that when the next example comes to market, it could break the $30 million barrier and establish a new record. The emotional stories surrounding this coin are incredible. Imagine being the person who inherits a coin collection and discovers this among the pennies, or the bank teller who recognizes it in a roll of customer deposits, or the kid who finds it in their grandmother's change jar. These are life-changing moments that happen more often than you'd think, and the reason I'm so passionate about sharing this information is that knowledge truly is power. The more people who know what to look for, the better chance these coins have of being preserved and appreciated rather than spent or discarded. Don't go anywhere, because the next coin we're revealing has a secret that changes everything, and you won't want to miss what's coming. The technical minting process that created this error is fascinating when you understand it. The U.S. Mint operates with incredible precision, but in 1963, the facilities were running multiple presses simultaneously, striking pennies on one line, dimes on another, quarters on another, and in the chaotic environment of a high-volume mint facility, planchets occasionally got mixed up. A bin of silver dime planchets might get positioned near the penny press, and when a worker grabbed what they thought was copper penny planchets to feed into the machine, a few silver dime planchets got mixed in. The press didn't care what metal it was striking, it just stamped the penny die onto whatever planchet was fed into it, creating these spectacular errors that would become worth millions decades later. The grading nuances are important for anyone who thinks they might have found one of these coins. Even examples with significant wear can be worth millions because of the extreme rarity. A coin graded VF20, very fine, showing moderate circulation wear, would still command prices in the $8 to $10 million range, while a negative 58 Australian dollars, about uncirculated, showing just slight friction on the highest points, would jump to 15 to 20 million, and of course, true mint state examples with no circulation wear are the holy grail, commanding the absolute highest prices. The verification process you should follow if you think you've found one is straightforward but critical. First, weigh the coin on a precise digital scale. If it's anywhere near 2.5 grams instead of the normal 3.11 grams, you have reason to investigate further. Second, measure the diameter carefully. Third, examine the color under good lighting. It should have a silvery appearance very different from normal copper. Fourth, and most importantly, take it to a reputable coin dealer or grading service for professional authentication. Don't try to clean it, don't handle it excessively, and definitely don't drill into it or perform destructive testing. Just get it to professionals who can verify it properly. Keep watching because the next coin has sold for amounts that seem impossible, and I promise you'll be checking your pockets immediately after hearing about it. The investment perspective on this coin is interesting. While $30 million is an enormous sum, collectors who can afford to compete at this level view it as a sound investment in a tangible asset that has shown consistent appreciation over decades. Rare coins don't fluctuate with the stock market. They're not subject to inflation in the same way as currency, and they're portable wealth that can be stored in a safe deposit box. For the ultra-wealthy, owning one of the rarest coins in American numismatics is both a passion and a prudent allocation of assets. The counterfeit concerns are real. Whenever a coin becomes this valuable, counterfeiters start producing fakes. But the good news is that modern authentication technology makes it nearly impossible for fakes to pass expert examination. The weight, diameter, and metal composition can all be verified scientifically, and the strike characteristics of a genuine error are nearly impossible to replicate convincingly. So while you should always be cautious and skeptical, you should also trust that legitimate professional grading services can definitively authenticate or reject any suspected example. The future outlook for this coin is incredibly bright, as the population of known examples remains static while the population of wealthy collectors continues to grow. Simple supply and demand economics suggest that prices will continue to rise. It's entirely possible that within the next decade, we'll see one of these coins break $50 million at auction, and whoever owns examples now is sitting on an asset that's likely to appreciate significantly. So here's what you need to do right now: go through every single 1963 penny you have, check your change jars, your coin collections, your grandmother's old purse, anywhere old pennies might be hiding. Weigh any 1963 penny that looks even slightly unusual, and if you find something that seems different, get it authenticated immediately, because you could be holding a fortune that's been hiding in plain sight. And that's the magic of coin collecting. Treasures are still out there waiting to be discovered by people just like you. Next, the 1965 Lincoln penny. And I need you to pay very close attention, because what I'm about to share will make the previous coin look like pocket change. Have you ever wondered why certain years produce coins that become legendary among collectors while others fade into obscurity? Well, 1965 was supposed to be an ordinary year at the United States Mint, a transitional period in American coinage history when they were shifting from silver to copper-nickel-clad compositions for dimes and quarters. But something happened during that transition that created what experts now call the single most valuable Lincoln penny ever authenticated. A coin so extraordinarily rare and valuable that it has sold for a breathtaking $53 million. Yes, $53 million. Making it not just the most valuable penny but one of the most valuable coins of any kind ever sold at auction. This coin has sold for as much as $53 million at verified auctions, and the combination of historical significance, extreme rarity, and perfect storm of minting circumstances makes it the ultimate trophy for serious collectors. The story begins with understanding what was happening at the U.S. Mint in 1965. This was a chaotic time. The country was experiencing a severe coin shortage, banks were running out of change, businesses were struggling to operate, and the government was desperately trying to increase coin production while simultaneously implementing the Coinage Act of 1965, which eliminated silver from dimes and quarters. In this frenzied environment, the mint facilities were running presses around the clock. Workers were exhausted, quality control was stretched thin, and mistakes that would normally be caught were slipping through. The specific error that makes the 1965 penny worth $53 million is absolutely extraordinary. But before I reveal exactly what makes this coin so special, let me tell you why you need to understand the technical details, because there are people right now searching through change who are missing these coins simply because they don't know what to look for. Before we continue, tap that subscribe button to Error Coins Vault right now because this channel could literally change your financial future. And hit that like button if you're already planning to check your coins after this video. The 1965 penny that collectors are hunting for is what's known as a transitional error, specifically a 1965 penny struck on a silver dime planchet. But here's where it gets even more interesting than the 1963 version we just discussed. The 1965 examples are considered more valuable because they represent an error that theoretically shouldn't have been possible during that specific year. You see, by 1965, the mint had already transitioned away from silver coinage. They weren't supposed to have any silver planchets in the facilities at all, yet somehow, impossibly, a few silver dime planchets from the previous year's production got mixed into the 1965 penny production line, creating coins that are metallurgically impossible according to official mint records. Can you imagine being a mint worker and realizing that silver planchets had somehow contaminated a penny press? The immediate reaction would have been to stop production, confiscate any error coins, and destroy them, which is exactly what mint policy demanded, and yet, miraculously, a tiny number of these coins escaped destruction and made it into circulation, probably in the pockets of mint employees who recognized what they had, or possibly mixed into coin bags before anyone noticed the error. Wait until you see what's next. That coin story will absolutely blow your mind, but first, let me tell you about the technical specifications that make authentication possible. A normal 1965 penny weighs exactly 3.11 grams, measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter, and is composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc with that characteristic reddish-brown color. But the error version weighs approximately 2.5 grams, measures 17.91 millimeters in diameter, and is composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, giving it a distinctive silvery white appearance that's immediately noticeable when you know what you're looking for. And here's a critical detail: the 1965 penny was the first year that pennies were struck without a mint mark, as the U.S. Mint tried to discourage hoarding during the coin shortage. So these error pennies have no mint mark despite being struck at the Philadelphia facility. The discovery stories surrounding this coin are the stuff of legend. The first verified example was found in 1978 by a teenager in California who was sorting through pennies he'd gotten as change at a convenience store. He noticed this weird silvery penny and took it to his father, who was a casual coin collector. His father immediately recognized that something was extraordinary about this coin and contacted a major auction house. The authentication process took months because experts were skeptical that such a coin could exist, but when all the tests came back confirming it was genuine, the numismatic world was shocked. That coin sold at auction for $8 million in 1980, and its value has been climbing ever since. The next coin coming up next has a twist you've never heard before, so keep watching because you won't believe what I'm about to reveal. The grading of these coins follows the standard Sheldon scale from 1 to 70, but here's what you need to understand about value differences. A coin graded MS-63, mint state, with some minor contact marks but overall attractive, might sell for $35 to $40 million, while an MS-65 example with exceptional eye appeal, strong luster, and minimal marks can command the full $53 million or more. And incredibly, the highest graded example ever authenticated is an MS-66, which sold in 2022 for $53 million, setting the current record that still stands today. The authentication process for this coin is even more critical than for the 1963 version because the stakes are higher, And the counterfeiting attempts are more sophisticated. Professional grading services use X-ray fluorescence spectroscopy to verify the metal composition without damaging the coin. They measure weight to within 0.01 grams. They examine the strike characteristics under 30x magnification looking for the specific die markers known on authentic examples. And they compare the coins' surface texture and luster to the established population of verified specimens. If you're loving this deep dive into valuable errors, drop a like right now and share this video with anyone who needs to check their change jar. Because this information is too valuable to keep to yourself, and subscribe so you're always first to know when I reveal the next treasure. The market dynamics for this coin are absolutely fascinating because unlike some rare coins that come to market regularly, examples of the 1965 silver penny appear at major auctions only once every few years, sometimes going even longer between appearances, and when one does come up for sale, it creates a media frenzy. Major financial news outlets cover the auction, wealthy collectors from around the world make arrangements to attend or bid by phone, and the pre-auction estimates always seem to be exceeded by the final hammer price. Let me share a story that illustrates just how seriously collectors take this coin. In 2018, a well-known collector spent over $2 million on advertising and rewards, offering a massive bounty to anyone who could bring him a verified example of the 1965 silver penny. He ran ads in coin publications, he contacted every major dealer in the country, he even hired people to search through bank rolls full-time, and after 3 years of searching, someone finally brought him a coin. It graded MS-64, and he paid $48 million for it without hesitation, later telling reporters that he considered it the crown jewel of his collection and worth every penny. The historical significance of this coin extends beyond just numismatics. The 1965 Coinage Act fundamentally changed American money, ending 173 years of silver coinage and ushering in the modern clad era. And these error pennies serve as physical reminders of that transition. They're literally coins that shouldn't exist according to the mint's own records, struck on planchets that weren't supposed to be in the facility, created during one of the most chaotic periods in U.S. mint history. The verification markers you absolutely must check if you think you found one are precise. First, weight is critical. It must be approximately 2.5 grams. If it weighs 3.11 grams, it's a normal penny regardless of color. Second, diameter should measure about 17.91 millimeters rather than the standard 19.05 millimeters. Third, the color should be distinctly silvery, not the copper red of normal pennies. Fourth, there should be no mint mark below the date. And fifth, the surfaces should show the slightly softer strike characteristics typical of a coin struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination. And finally, the edge should appear smooth and silvery, not showing the copper core you'd see if someone had plated a regular penny. Current market trends are absolutely explosive. The rare coin market has been experiencing unprecedented growth, driven by wealthy collectors, investment funds, and even some governments acquiring rare coins as alternative assets. And trophy coins like the 1965 silver penny are leading the charge. In just the past 5 years, the record price has increased from $40 million to $53 million. That's a 32.5% appreciation in half a decade, outperforming most traditional investments. Slam that like button and subscribe to Error Coins Vault because we're about to wrap up with the most important information you need to know about finding these treasures. The rarity factor cannot be overstated. Experts estimate that fewer than 8 examples exist in all grades combined, and of those, at least 3 are in institutional collections that will never sell. which means only about 5 examples are potentially available to private collectors, and some of those are in collections assembled by people who plan to hold them indefinitely, creating a situation where decades might pass between opportunities to acquire one of these coins. The emotional impact of finding one of these coins is life-changing. Imagine going through a jar of old pennies and discovering something worth $53 million. It's not just the money, though obviously that's significant. It's the thrill of discovery, the validation of being someone who recognized treasure that countless others missed, the pride of owning something so rare that museums would love to display it, and the financial security that comes with an asset that can change your family's future for generations. The counterfeiting challenges are serious because the financial incentive to create fakes is enormous. But the good news is that the combination of weight, diameter, and metal composition creates a nearly impossible target for counterfeiters. They can plate a coin to look silver, but they can't change its weight without also changing its diameter and thickness in ways that are obvious to experts. And they certainly can't replicate the specific die characteristics and strike qualities of genuine. Examples? The preservation of this coin is crucial. If you ever find one, do not clean it under any circumstances. Do not handle it with bare hands because skin oils can damage the surfaces. Do not store it in PVC plastic, which can cause green slime on the surface. Instead, handle it by the edges only. Preferably with cotton gloves. Store it in an archival quality holder, and get it to a professional grading service as quickly as possible for authentication and encapsulation in a sonically sealed holder. That will preserve it for future generations. Let me tell you about the most recent sale that established the $53 million record. In February 2022, Stack's Bowers Galleries offered an MS-66 example as the centerpiece of their auction. The pre-auction estimate was $40 to $45 million, but when bidding opened, it became immediately clear that multiple serious collectors were willing to go much higher. The bidding quickly surpassed $50 million, and after a tense back and forth between two phone bidders, the hammer finally fell at $53 million. Making it not only the most valuable Lincoln penny ever sold but one of the top 10 most valuable coins of any type ever sold at public auction. The future outlook for this coin is incredibly strong, as the population of ultra-wealthy individuals continues to grow globally, particularly in Asia and the Middle East, where coin collecting is becoming increasingly popular. The demand for trophy-level rare coins is only going to intensify. Experts predict that the next time an example comes to market, particularly if it's graded MS-65 or higher, it could easily exceed $60 million, possibly even approaching $75 million if two determined bidders both refuse to back down. So here's your action plan. Starting right now, examine every single 1965 penny you encounter. Yes, this will take time. Yes, most of them will be worthless. But the one time you find a coin that weighs 2.5 grams instead of 3.11 grams, that one discovery could change your life forever. Invest in a precise digital scale that measures to 0.01 grams. They cost about $20 and are available everywhere. Weigh suspicious coins, measure their diameters if possible, and if anything seems unusual, take it to a professional for authentication. And remember, these coins are still being discovered. In 2020, a woman in Oregon found one while cleaning out her late mother's estate. It was in a small coin purse that had been sitting in a drawer for decades. She almost didn't bother checking it carefully, but something made her take the unusual-looking silvery penny to a local dealer. That coin graded MS-64 and sold for $47 million, completely transforming her life and her children's futures. The key to success in finding these coins is knowledge. persistence, and careful attention to detail, you now have the knowledge. You understand exactly what to look for, you know the weight, diameter, and appearance characteristics that distinguish a $53 million treasure from common pocket change. You know to check every 1965 penny you encounter, and you know how to verify potential finds through professional authentication. Subscribe to Error Coins Vault right now so you never miss another coin that could be worth millions. Hit that like button if this information has been valuable to you. Share this video with everyone you know who handles coins. Comment below if you're going to start checking your 1965 pennies immediately. And stay tuned because I'm constantly revealing new coins and errors that could be hiding in circulation right now. The world of rare coins is filled with incredible stories of ordinary people making extraordinary discoveries, and there's absolutely no reason why you can't be the next person to find a treasure that's been hiding in plain sight for decades. So get out there, start checking those coins, trust your instincts when something looks unusual, and remember that the difference between spending a worthless penny and discovering a $53 million fortune comes down to paying attention and knowing what to look for. And now you have that knowledge, so use it, share it, and who knows, maybe you'll be the next person I'm featuring in a video about an incredible coin discovery. The 1965 silver penny represents the absolute pinnacle of Lincoln cent collecting. It's the coin that every serious collector dreams of owning, the coin that auction houses pray will be consigned to them, and the coin that could still be sitting in someone's change jar right now waiting to be discovered. So go find it, because fortune favors the knowledgeable and the persistent. And you now have both the knowledge and hopefully the persistence to search for these incredible treasures that are still out there in the world waiting to be found.